guilty after a 2-day jury trial. A gun stolen from Warsaw was found a month after the crime it was used in, alongside 31-year-old Joshua Banks. On October 5th, South Bend police officers found an empty, stolen vehicle when Banks was walking nearby with a backpack and a gas can. When Banks saw the officers, they say he ran away, but he was caught and officers found the backpack and the stolen gun nearby. Banks will be sentenced on June 12th for possessing a gun after felony convictions. We continue with our ABC 57 News breaking news out of Elkhart, where the Forest River plant is on fire. The RV manufacturing plant on County Road 15 near the Midwest Gun Range there. We have boots on the ground all around the scene there, gathering information. ABC 57's Tiffany Salome, Carla Rodriguez, they've been out talking with officials and people who live nearby the scene right after that fire broke out. First, we're going to send it out to Carla with the latest updates. Carla.
Yeah, right now, Brianne, this scene still very active, even almost 3 hours after this initially started. What officials tell us so far is that it was towards the end of the workday where there were about 5 to 6 people still inside who reportedly heard explosions. That's when they came here, and about 40 other firefighters responded to the scene as well. It's still unknown exactly what caused the fire, but officials tell us it looks like this specific Forest River plant number 59 manufactured trailers. Now, again, like as you see, firefighters still working. They said they're aiming towards hot spots, but it seems to be mostly under control. And again, the big takeaway here, no injuries. And as soon as we get more information, we'll pass that along to you. For now, reporting live in Elkhart, Carla Rodriguez, ABC 57 News.
Thanks, Carla. We're going to send it out now to ABC 57's Tiffany Salome. She's been talking with witnesses who saw the fire and the smoke. Tiffany.
Witnesses out here today, Brianne, are concerned, but they're happy to know that no one was hurt in this fire. Now, the smoke could be seen from miles and miles away. As Carla just told you guys, crews are still on the scene here. They're working on hot spots, as you can see behind me. But for the most part, this thing is under control, and it looks a lot better than what I saw when I got here an hour ago. Now, I did run into a lot of witnesses here an hour ago, including Nicole and Andrea, who said they were studying 5 miles away, and all they could see from the window was smoke.
Well, we were like 4 miles away, and it was huge, and it kept billowing, and as we drove closer and closer, it wasn't letting up. Like, it was getting worse.
So we were worried.
That's what you're hearing on the scene here right now. People are worried, but again, they are relieved to find out that nobody was hurt. We'll continue to keep you updated, and coming up in a few short minutes, we'll hopefully have an update on officials on what the firefighters are doing back there. For now, live in Elkhart, Tiffany Salome, ABC 57 News.
Thanks, Tiffany. Of course, we will continue to follow this massive fire at the Forest River plant in Elkhart. As you can see, many viewers have sent us photos and video. If you have any you'd like to email to us, you can send them to us through Facebook and Twitter. We'd love to see what you saw. A South Bend mayoral candidate facing more charges tonight as officials in Stark County now claim he stole an SUV. The Stark County Prosecutor's Office just issued a warrant for auto theft, but these are just the latest charges 32-year-old mayoral candidate Will Smith is facing. He was arrested last week for stealing an RV out of Miami County, and ABC 57 discovered deputies in Malibu, California arrested him for squatting in a home late last year. Investigative reporter Clifton French has been uncovering these details for us, and he's live in the newsroom tonight with the latest. Clifton.
Listen to this, Brianne. I got my hands on these documents earlier today, and they describe odd behavior, saying that Smith wore gloves and a medical mask like this one when he stole that SUV. Off busy US 30 in Stark County, a bizarre crime at an impound lot where repossessed vehicles are taken and stored. The Stark County Prosecutor's Office filing charges against 32-year-old South Bend mayoral candidate Will Smith, claiming he stole an SUV right off the gated lot on February 13th. According to arrest documents, Smith was wearing a medical mask. He was covering his nose and his mouth when he went inside, obscuring part of his face. Still, He gave them his legal name when they asked. Nobody at the lot would speak with ABC 57, but documents spell out the accusations. You see, the SUV was repossessed from Smith about a week earlier. Smith initially claimed his ID was inside of that vehicle, so staff let him get inside to look for it. When Smith couldn't find his ID, he was being escorted back to the building when he turned around, went back to the vehicle, and drove off through an open gate. All of it captured on surveillance camera, which ABC 57 is working to get. South Bend police later found that SUV at his home on Whitehall Drive, 30 miles away. 2 weeks earlier, law enforcement in Miami County claimed Smith stole an RV from this lot just south of Grissom Air Force Base off US 31. And it turns out Smith is also facing charges out of Los Angeles County, California, accused of squatting in a home in Ritzy, Malibu in December of 2018. And on top of stealing that SUV, Smith is being charged with breaking into that vehicle before he took off with it. I'm live in the newsroom tonight. Clifton French, ABC 57 News.
Right now, the current mayor of South Bend is getting ready to take the stage inside the historic Morris Performing Arts Center on North Michigan Avenue downtown. The stage is set, and in just a few minutes, Mayor Pete Buttigieg will be giving his final State of the City address. I'm Brian Conybeare, live here on North Michigan outside the Morris right now, and you're looking at a live feed from inside the venue as the crowd has been streaming in, getting settled in, ready to hear the mayor's final State of the City address. Of course, Mayor Pete is set to take the stage one last time to talk about his final year in office and also possibly discuss his potential run for president in 2020. He's one of more than a dozen Democrats who have started presidential exploratory committees, and he just raised more than $600,000 in just 24 hours by taking part in a live CNN town hall meeting in Texas on Sunday night. But tonight, his audience is much more local than national, really. And I'm joined right now live here by the one Republican in the race to try and replace Mayor Pete next year. That's Sean Haas. He is a high school teacher and IU South Bend graduate. Thank you very much for being here. We appreciate it. Do you think Mayor Pete can run for president and run the city effectively at the same time?
I look at this as kind of more if I was in my job. And so as a teacher, if I was missing 3 to 4 days a week of my job, I would probably be fired, number one. But also, you think about what the parents and the students would be saying, what type of education are you getting? I think it's pretty difficult to focus on two things at once, especially when you think about the challenges that we have in our city. For him to kind of walk away and do this presidential campaigning, I mean, I understand his ambition, but I just don't think it's what's best for the city.
What do you think might get lost in translation here? If he's out running around trying to build his name recognition, raise money, and run for president, what type of issues do you think could be neglected here at home?
Well, public safety, I think, is number one. You look at the crime rates in the city, and I think they speak for themselves. Infrastructure is another thing that we really want to tackle as far as when we win, and I think those things are being neglected. Educationally, we'd like to get involved with the schools as much as we can. We understand that we don't have a whole lot of political or power as far as running the school system, but we really want to be an advocate for the school to try and really turn it around and make South Bend a great city.
Sean Haas, Republican candidate for South Bend Mayor, thank you for taking the time. I appreciate it.
Thank you.
So there you have one of the candidates. He does not have a primary coming up in May. There are 10 Democrats running in the primary to replace Mayor Pete Buttigieg next year. And the November election, of course, will take place in the first Tuesday of November. Now, we do have a live stream of the event if you'd like to watch it. It's about to start inside the Morris in just a matter of moments. We have a link to that on our website at abc57.com, and my colleague Kylie Walker will have a complete wrap-up for you coming up at 10 and 11 tonight. For now, that's it. I'm Brian Conybeare live in downtown South Bend, ABC 57 News.
Not windy at the moment. That's going to be changing as we go into Wednesday. Here's the current wind speed, 5-10 miles per hour. It's pleasant to be outside if you're dressed in a good spring jacket tonight. Let's track the wind. This is the forecast wind gusts with Forecast Track by tomorrow morning and into tomorrow afternoon. We're seeing those wind gusts in that 25 to 30 mile per hour range. Now look at Wednesday night into early Thursday, and you'll see the gusts really begin to peak early Thursday morning in that 40 to 45 mile per hour range, and that could be fairly sustained into Thursday afternoon. May waver somewhat, but we're still between 35 and 45 miles per hour for a good chunk of Thursday. Windy Thursday, and on top of that, this is a pretty strong storm system. As we shift our focus back to the west, it's going to be coming out of the Rocky Mountains and trucking across the country. Look at it come together. Severe threat across Oklahoma and Texas. Rain across Michiana, and yes, even the possibility of some thunderstorms for us as well by Thursday afternoon. Let's continue with team coverage tonight, breaking down that severe weather threat with ABC 57 First Warning neighborhood meteorologist Tyler Sebree. Tyler?
Tom, yeah, it's certainly been a long time since we've been discussing thunderstorms and severe weather, but that threat is there come Thursday. A very potent system is coming together, and there's going to be a lot to work with to support thunderstorms and severe weather. This is the latest risk from the Storm Prediction Center, and you can see in yellow, that does include all of Indiana and Michiana for that matter, a low category 1 of 5 severe risk. It's low, but it certainly still exists. Now, I don't think it's going to be a widespread severe event, and I certainly don't anticipate a significant severe weather outbreak, but everyone is included in this severe weather risk. Something interesting, though, is this system, when looking back in history at every other system that looks like the one coming up this week, look at the bullseye right over Indiana. Looking at history, it does look like a severe threat will materialize. Come Thursday, we'll track it for you through the rest of the week. Live in South Bend, I'm ABC 57 First Warning neighborhood weather meteorologist Tyler Sebree.
After a vote against their zoning ordinance to create a new sober living facility, staff at Choices Recovery say they're not stopping the fight. ABC 57's Abby Lutz spoke with staff today who said the vote just brought them renewed purpose.
And just because this property was voted down doesn't mean there won't be a sober living facility. Folks at Choices say they're already looking for a new location inside the city. And they say they're actually encouraged by all the phone calls coming in asking them to keep advocating for those who suffer with addiction. The new facility they're working towards is different than the one already here in the city, where this one gives treatment to those in active addiction. A sober living would add a longer-term accountability.
What the sober living is an actual transition facility for the person who maybe isn't ready to go home yet. They still want to go to some extra classes, they still want to work with their therapist. Maybe their home is not a safe environment.
Brown did say she's already had some property owners reach out to her today talking about their property as a potential location for this facility. She said she's not ready to say where the new location might be, but she won't give up until this facility is a reality for people here in South Bend. In South Bend, Abby Lutz, ABC 57 News.
All right, it's not 2 solid days of wind and rain, but the wind begins to increase tomorrow. I'm going to take you through that hour by hour next.
We continue our ABC 57 breaking news coverage of an RV plant that's still on fire, the Forest River plant here in Elkhart. Crews are still working and there's still a few roads closed here. I'll have more details coming up for you in just 2 minutes.